Microsoft Excel Blue Box 14 for Chapter 3. In this example, or in this exercise, we're going to see an example way in which we can look values up in a table. So if you think about what we have in this situation, we've got the total cost of the event is $31,000. And so the question is, what kind of discount are we going to offer somebody who's willing to spend $31,000 on their event? Okay. The way in which this table has to be set up is it has to be set up so that we can find where 31,000 is going to be. And so we have to look up. I'm going to use the V lookup. So V, because it's vertically looking down this first column. Since 31,000 isn't in that table, it's going to be an approximate match that we're looking for. And so the way in which we have to do this is two ways. We have to have this table set up correctly, which has already been done for us. And then we have to understand how it's going to look, do the comparison. So the values have to go from lowest to highest. That's been done. And the percentage that we can see has to represent the first number that would cut off, that would give us, in this case, our 0, 1, 5, etc. percent discount. So the 31,000, if I were reading this table, is I would say, okay, it's 30,000. It's more than 30,000. So that 5% is in the running. It's not more than 40,000. And so that's why we're going to stop here. So a way in which I think about this is 30,000 greater than 0? Yes. All right. Then it's at least 0%. Is 30,000 greater than 20, or is 31,000 greater than 20,000? Yes. So we're no longer at 0. We're now going to get at least 1%. Is 31,000 greater than 30,000? Yes. So we're going to get 5%. Do we get 7.5? Is 31,000 greater than 40,000? No. So we'll go back to the 30,000 row and pick up the 5% that way. This is an approximate match. We could have an exact match, and it's really important that you let Excel know which variation you're trying to run. Because if you try to run an exact match when you have an approximate match, you won't get the desired result. Namely, in this particular case, if you ask find 31,000 exactly matched in what you see in the first column, it doesn't exist. So it would have to be that it's an approximate match. But understanding how Excel thinks about the table is important. Again, it's going to find where is the value you're looking up greater than, it's the biggest number it's greater than before we cut off. So it's bigger than 30,000 but not 40,000. Okay, that tells me I'm in the 30,000 row, and I'm going to get that 5%. All right, so I'm going to do that lookup. So there's a variety of ways in which this could have been set up initially, and in fact, Excel has gone back and reworked the lookup functions, because one of the downfalls of VLOOKUP is the value you're looking up can only be in the first column. And that's quite a drawback, because we might have a table where I want to look something up in the fifth column and find, what corresponds in that row in the second column or something like that, and VLOOKUP will not work in that case. So as I type VLOOKUP, as soon as I see it's given it to me there, I can hit the Tab key. Notice it's telling me what it is that I need to look up. I want to look up 31,000. Okay, where am I doing that? I'm doing that in a table. Okay, so VLOOKUP expects you to give a table's worth of information. That's the 0 all the way to, in this case, it's in that way, I want to get E4 all the way down to F8. So I'm putting in the entire table there. Okay, so it's going to look up 31,000 in that, find the range that it belongs in, and then comma, once it finds it, what's it going to do? I need to tell it to give me the number that is where. in this table, I want the percentage. That's not in the first column, rather it's in the second column. So I put the number 2. Notice it says column index num. Column index num, the last num is number. It's expecting a number there. Column index, because the way in which we've indexed the columns is this table or array that we've given Excel could be anywhere on the worksheet. We're not telling it it's in column F. Okay, that's not what we're doing. Instead, we're thinking, which of the columns is it in? Is it in the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth? Well, in this case, there's only 2 columns in this table, and it's in the second column, so we give it the number 2 for second. Finally, we hit comma, and again, it is not an exact match. It's an approximate match. It's going to find the 31,000 fits between 30 and 40,000. It's 31,000 is not in that table. So I'm going to make sure that I have true. We've got our 5%, so we're good. Okay, and so that is our VLOOKUP.